points. More details at srnnews.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose, but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
Summer starts with savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 36 months on the 26 GMC Acadia. Drive home a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 with 0% for 36 months, 2.9% for 72 months, or up to $7,000 in rebates. Plus, get $1,000 in rebates on the 2026 GMC Sierra 2500. Summer deals won't last forever. Hurry into Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or shop online anytime at hurlchev.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
With NWKS Radio News, I'm Lucas Kenny. The Rawlins County Health Department has noted a few reminders regarding harmful algal blooms that can form at lakes and bodies of water. Those reminders include HABs can develop rapidly. They release toxins that can be harmful to humans and animals. Knowing how to identify HABs can keep your family, pets, and livestock safe. HABs can look like foam, scum, mats, or paint floating on the water surface, and they can smell bad, and the water can look blue, green, brown, orange, red, or paint-like. In other news, on Friday, May 22nd, a little after 1:30 p.m. in Thomas County, two vehicles were traveling southbound on Country Club Drive in Thomas County when one vehicle tried passing the other, clipping the second vehicle and causing a small accident. Everyone involved was taken to Citizens Medical Center in Colby due to suspected minor injuries. For more information on these stories and more, visit nwksradio.net.
Today, scattered showers and storms will continue. Highs will be in the middle to upper 60s under heavy clouds with southeast winds around 10 miles per hour. Tonight, rain will slow down and fog develops across most of the area and may become dense east of Highway 25. Lows will be in the middle 50s. Tomorrow, drier air begins to clear things out in the western areas. Highs will reach into the lower 80s. Some scattered severe storms are possible later in the afternoon and evening around the Three Corners area. And areas east of Highway 25 may stay more in the upper 60s to mid 70s, with clouds and fog possibly lingering through much of the day. Southeast winds at 10 to 20 miles per hour, with fog likely again overnight and lighter southeasterly winds. Over the weekend, late afternoon and evening, storm chances become more scattered, around 30%. Highs will be warmer in the mid to upper 80s. This meteorologist Chris Schromick, the NWKS Radio Weather Center.
At Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic, they believe in promoting healthier living through compassionate quality care. From state-of-the-art maternity care to life-saving emergency services, their dedicated team is there for you and your family. Whether it's managing diabetes, navigating recovery, or receiving specialized treatments, they're committed to your well-being. Discover the difference a community-focused hospital can make. Visit rayhospital.org today to learn more. Ray Community District Hospital and Clinic. Your health, our priority.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pest Away in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pest Away today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
Your business was built right here, so was ours. At FNB Bank, we are not run from some distant city. We are run by neighbors, for neighbors. We know what matters to you because it matters to us too. From local decisions to face-to-face service, we are here. Bank local, grow local, stay local. FNB Bank, member FDIC.
Here's a bright idea. Streaming without buffering. It's not 2014. There's no reason for laggy internet and buffering shows. IdeaTech has the technology. It's fiber optic cable. IdeaTech has brought high-speed fiber to 75 communities and counting. Don't put up with outdated internet. Streaming without buffering. Another bright idea from IdeaTech. Get fast, modern IdeaTech internet at ideatech.com.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Give me my cane. I'll show you how to play this game.
The High Plains only local sports talk show. Broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps to the pros.
Cowgirls hunting them, and they're finding them. Sturgill with another 3.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, along with
Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, and the Insurance Agency.
Let's go to work.
Switch this one the other way. Back he goes! 20 home runs for Munetaka Murakami. Jordan sends one to center field deep. Carter back, he's done it again. 5 bombs in 3 games. Air Jordan continues to get cleared for liftoff at DFW.
Sugano's 1-1. Otani, dead center field. Did he get enough? You bet he did. He's just showing off once again. Back-to-back starts. He leads off the game with a homer.
Blake picks it up, Costas Bear. Getting in front of that attempt. Here's Blake with Stankoven. Score! 3-0 Carolina, and Stankoven on the feed from Blake.
And good Thursday morning, everybody. It is the Morning Blitz, as always, broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 KLOE, NWKSradio.net, and the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. Ross Volkmer, Garrett Wellbrock with you here. Garrett, I thought initially you got a haircut, but I'm not. It's from a closer look, it is not a haircut today.
No haircut for me. I need one though. I need one.
He needs to go get a haircut today. But good morning. We live in Northwest Kansas, but the last 24 hours plus, it's felt more like the Northwest of America. Feels like we're living in Seattle or up in the Pacific Northwest a little bit. Drizzly, damp, gloomy. Past 24 hours. Yesterday was like if I've only spent time in the Seattle airport. It's the only time I've ever been in Seattle is when I've been in the airport. And it just kind of comes up and it rains hard for about 20 minutes, stops. And then, maybe it's an hour later. Here's a quick little 10-minute shower, stops. And that's just what I remember my one time being in the Seattle airport. That's what it was yesterday here in Goodland, at least. Just a little rain shower here, stop for a while, another rain shower there, stop for a while. Come up rain really hard for about 10 minutes, stop. And we're kind of like that again here this morning, a light sprinkle. And I don't know about you, but for me, it was a real struggle to get out of bed this morning. When it's like this in the morning, I am not a morning person.
I agree. No, that's me too. I actually put my window open in my room because I love the smell of rain, so much. And great smell, by the way.
Oh, I couldn't agree. It's got to be one of the top 10 best smells all time?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's amazing.
So I put the window open and in the morning when you wake up, you can still smell the rain, and I can still smell a little bit right now. It's awesome.
Yeah, if the windows that I have in the studio here, if I could crack them open, I would right now. But can't do that. They're shut. They're shut. What can I say? Completely solidly shut. But nonetheless, glad you're with us here on this Thursday morning edition of the Morning Blitz. Today we will be visiting with Jesse Newell, our good friend from The Athletic, talking to him about Chiefs OTAs. I texted him, I said, can we join the show tomorrow? He goes, yes, I can. But just to let you know, I won't get to watch practice today. I get to watch practice starting tomorrow, which is fine. We'll do a little pre-OTAs. But Garrett kind of has the first segment this morning. He kind of gave the idea, and so he's going to kind of lead us through the first segment, talking kind of NFL OTAs, a transition to maybe some quarterback thoughts around the NFL. So we'll do that there in segment number 1. Jesse Newell is going to pop by the show, and the Royals and the Rockies are really bad. I was watching the end of the Dodgers-Rockies game last night. Watching the end of it, it's kind of one of those deals where it's just inevitable. I mean, you're playing the Dodgers, you're going to lose pretty much. And so the Rockies, I'm like watching the broadcast crew for the Rockies, and they're doing like the end of the game where they sit back, look at the camera with the field in the background, that deal, and they're talking about the game. I'm like, those guys, you just look in their eyes, they're just like, God, this is awful. This is so bad. This is for how many straight years we haven't even had a team that's even semi-competitive, and we're just out here calling games with a franchise that has no interest in winning at this point in time in our lives.
Yeah, we were talking about them, a couple months ago, or not a couple, I guess, late April maybe. We felt they were better too this year, but it's been a bad month of May.
Oh, the thing is, they are better. They are better.
They are better, but not necessarily to what we thought. Maybe, hey, they look pretty, like in April, they looked like a decent ball club. That they might be not 500 necessarily, but maybe a couple games below. And now they'll be better than last year, because you can't be any worse than last year.
Yeah, I mean, they were really bad last year, and this year's going to be better, but it's not going to be a heck of a lot better. But like I said before, at least they're showing a pulse. Last year it was that deal where they had that meme where that guy has a stick poking it. That was what the Rockies were last year. This year at least there's a pulse there in Denver. But yeah, it's tough. It is tough. Real quick before we get to segment number 1, of course, FB Bank text line open, 785-899-2222. If you want to be part of the show, use the FB Bank text line. Get your thoughts, your comments, your questions in. Let's see here. I did see yesterday late, unfortunately, after the show, we did get a Dear Ross in here. So why don't we just squeeze that in here real quickly, a quick edition of Dear Ross. So, Dear Ross and Garrett, I'm 10,000 feet overhead. This was yesterday. Someone was flying somewhere, streaming you from a plane. The Avs lose 4 straight. I'm crying. Fire the coach or what if you are the Colorado Avalanche? Question from this texter on Dear Ross and Garrett. I'll go first. I'm going to say you don't fire Bednar, I think is the coach's name. You don't fire him. I don't think that's it. I think you had a bad situation. I think maybe you had a great run of luck, not say luck, but a great run of just stuff going right for you, just kind of come to an end at a very poor time. I mean, you just had everything going in the right direction, and then all of a sudden McCarr gets hurt, McKinnon gets dinged, and I know that injuries are part of sports. I get that, but sometimes if you can't play through that stuff, it's really difficult, and sometimes it just happens. Now, is it tough that you lose 4 straight? Absolutely. But it's one of those deals where, you get down when you get down 2-0 and you come out in game 3 and you absolutely are swinging for the fences, fighting for your life, and you have it won. Remember, they were up 3-0 and they lose 5-3. That's when you're just like, well, this is not going to be our series. It ain't going to be ours. And then in game 4, where I always talk about, how important is game 4 to the team that's up 3-0. I always feel like in game 4s, doesn't matter what sport it is. Well, we'll come out here and we'll give it our best go, in the first few innings, minutes, whatever it might be. And if it's not going our way, That's all right. We'll just throw in the towel for the rest of the game and get ready for game 5. No reason. We'll let them burn up their energy while we'll save ours. That's how I always feel about game 4s in those situations. So I don't know. I've read, and I'll just go by people who know more about it than I do. I think the Avalanche got to start getting a little bit younger in some spots. They got to start maybe developing some younger players, or going out and getting younger guys to be on that roster. I think that'd be my 2 cents on that there.
That's kind of what I was leaning on as well. It's not. I wouldn't probably fire the coach. You made the Western Conference Finals. Like, you can't be mad about that. I know obviously it wasn't what you wanted, because you had the Stanley Cup aspirations. But yeah, I think right on your point. The injuries were key at the worst time of the season. I mean, you can't expect that. When you go into the playoffs, that you're going to have an injury or two late in the semifinals like that. And then also getting younger. I'm not saying they need to rebuild. Like, it's not a complete tear down rebuild type. You were still close. It's more of a retooling to where you might trade a guy for two assets that are younger for sure.
Yeah. So thank you there for Dear Ross and Garrett here on the Morning Blitz, and that listener. FB Bank text line open for more thoughts, comments, and questions throughout the show. Before we get to thoughts on the Chiefs, real quickly, a recap from State Golf yesterday. Congratulations to the Oakley Plainsmen. They are, as a team, I should say, they finish in 5th place in 2A. They had a great second day. After shooting a 347 in day 1, they turn around and shoot a 335 in day number 2. And they end up finishing 3 shots back of 4th place Hayes TMP in the 2A tournament. But boy, what a 2A. Think about this. Of course, the reigning champs and the continuing reigning Salina Sacred Heart. I mean, that's just a powerhouse boys golf program there. But how about Syracuse? Syracuse coming in 2nd place with a 649, just 6 shots back. It was a great 2A tournament. Oakley finishing in 5th, led by their star golfer Easton Fink, who finished in 4th place with a 10 over par, 154 2-day total. That was 1 shot back of Syracuse's Brock Keller, who got the bronze in the tournament. But yeah, those were the stars of the 2A. You had guys that finished up yesterday in the 2A tournament, like Carter Selensky, Cowie Bosserman, Manuel Mancia, all finished after day number 2 outside of the medal, outside of finishing the top 20, which is where you have to in order to get a medal. There at State Golf. Hoxie's Matt Foote and Gage Epp also made the cut at the 2A tournament, but they both missed medaling as well outside the top 20, tying for 31st and 40th, Foote and Epp respectively. And like I said, Selensky and those guys anywhere from 27 to 36 in the placing there for Oakley. Oberlin's Cohen Owen with a great showing in the 1A tournament. He finished with a 12 over par and finished in 5th place yesterday at the 1A tournament there in McPherson. Shout out to, outside of our listening range, but a lot of people know this school, Hill City, with their first ever state golf title in boys golf. They shoot a 628 combined score, beating out South Gray, who is usually in the top spot there at the 1A tournament. But you had good showings from Cohen Owen of Decatur Committee, finishing at 152, 12 over par for that. And I believe he was the only 1A golfer to medal there. You had Quinters, Cooper Havlis, and St. Francis's Carter Matthews. They finished once again outside the top 25. You have to finish in the top 20 to medal. And then shout out to Goodland's Braylon Mole. He did earn a medal. He finished in the top 20. He tied for 18th at plus 18 in the 3A tournament. Unfortunately, teammate Trent Sheldon just outside of medaling at top 20. He tied for 24th at 25 over par. And Colby's Caleb Dixon tied for 32nd at plus 23 in the 3A tournament. So once again, you had 5 teams go in. Only 1 team made the day 2 cut. That was Oakley. They ended up finishing in 5th place. And I believe there were a total of, if you take out the 2 teams, there were a total of, I think, where did I write this down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think there were 6 individuals that weren't a part of a team that made it to state. And of those 6, there was a decent amount that were 1, 2, 3. There were 4 of the 6 that were individuals that were able to make it to day 2, but did not end up finishing. I can't say on the medal stand when you're finishing in 18th or 19th, but earning a medal is the way I would put it there. So congratulations on some great seasons, particularly the Oakley Plainsmen, Easton Fink, Cohen Owen, Goodlands Braylon Mole, all those, the team for Oakley, and then, of course, those gentlemen all earning state medals at state golf yesterday around the state. So there we go. Let's transition into the NFL. Garrett, I'm going to let you just take the wheel here. You go ahead and cruise us where you want to go. This was your idea on NFL with OTAs getting going up here the last couple days.
Yeah, well, it's kind of interesting because every NFL team, they start their OTAs at different times. So the Chiefs, they actually started 2 days ago, the 26th on Tuesday. And just taking a look, it is unbelievable how the Patrick Mahomes has already come along this significant knee injury where he basically tore everything in that knee, and he's already back throwing and moving around. It's not like he's just sitting there taking under center snaps and just throwing the ball. Like, no, he is under center, doing play action rollouts, doing it all. On the Hurl GMC video stream, you can actually see a video right now of him throwing on the Chiefs Instagram. It is remarkable. I cannot believe that he's already back. The big question was, would he be ready for week 1? And now he's already in OTAs throwing the ball.
That is a heavily braced left knee. Now, once again, I'm not going to sit here. It is impressive, but that is one heavily braced left knee. That is at minimum 4,000, maybe a 5-figure brace that's on that left knee, and understandably so. And there's no contact. There's no one flying around him. But it is nonetheless, it is amazing to see what he is doing at this point in time. I think it comes down to this. You're Patrick Mahomes. You are, I think probably the best quarterback in the league right now. And these are the kind of things that you can get when you have the best quarterback in the league kind of money. You can go and get the best surgeons and the best surgeries to get patched up as quickly and do it on a time frame that is as quickly as possible. You can have the best physical therapists and getting you ready to roll each and every day. And you can have the best technology and equipment, whether it is in the hospital or the physical therapy area that goes, or more likely in his house where he can work on it just constantly. And when you're a player like Patrick Mahomes and you're driven to be great, that just becomes your life. It's every day you're up, you're doing the things you got to do first thing in the morning. And then it's a whole day deal. And, it's amazing because I think we've had this conversation before about Patrick Mahomes and that. Isn't it amazing how quickly guys can come back from injuries, and Mahomes is now setting a new standard for ACLs. I mean, that's what we're doing. And then, of course, I threw the joke in there, about Achilles. And then when can guys throw Tommy John and get in the first part of the season, make it back for the World Series? When usually that's a whole year type thing. Mm-hmm. I believe it or not, I think we're going to get there at some point in time with the technology. And we're just seeing Patrick Mahomes do that with a combination of the financial well-being to do it and the drive to put it in the right spot.
Absolutely. Yeah, and the Patrick Mahomes is probably the big storyline of the OTAs, but also seeing the rookies, that's one thing that I'm really excited about to see when the season starts. It's just how those rookies kind of come along for the Chiefs. We talked about the NFL draft a couple weeks ago, and a lot of our Chiefs analysts we bring in are really, really high on that draft, even though it wasn't like a splashy NFL draft that they've had, in past years where they went and got, Xavier Worthy or Rashee Rice or, these big time name, like skill position players. These were more like the front linemen on the defensive side of the ball, or like, secondary pieces that weren't, big names outside of Mansour Delane, their number 1 pick. But I'm really excited. I think a lot of other people are too.
But there are other storylines surrounding the Chiefs. I mean, what about, of course, Rashee Rice and his 30-day jail sentence? I'm guessing he's still behind bars at this point in time. And, and I saw a tweet, or I think I saw a tweet on X about this a few days ago. They were talking about Patrick Mahomes, and they were kind of throwing in the thoughts of how, he's worked so hard to get back to being able to play and being ready to be an elite guy again here this year for 26. And there was a kind of a comment at the end, like, isn't it kind of sad that they can't seem to find the guys in the wide receiver room that want to be as good as he, and think about how good he could be if he actually had some guys that wanted to be as good as him in the wide receiver room. Instead, you got guys out there, serving 30 days because they were smoking the wacky tobacco, on, on their parole. I mean, like I said, it is amazing but I always feel like the Chiefs have just taken advantage of that. After they found out that Mahomes was probably one of the best quarterbacks of this generation, if not the best, they're just like, well, shoot, we have to spend money to keep him. That means we don't have as much money to, give the wide receivers and stuff. So he's just going to have to work with, he's going to have to turn chicken, into chicken salad sometimes. And I'm not saying that the guys they have are complete chicken, but that they need to definitely help him out more. And Travis Kelce's getting, no offense, a little bit longer in the tooth. They've got to find guy. And there's the guys they've drafted like Wiley, I think is the one guy's name. Jared Wiley, is that right? I think that is TCU. Another guy they brought in. They haven't exactly just stolen the show away at this point in time. They need to find more weapons to take pressure off of him. And I think this year we're seeing also, particularly with the return of Eric Bieniemy, that they're going to turn around and hand the ball off. They're going to hand the ball off and run the ball and put less pressure on Patrick Mahomes, which I think you have to do. We've kind of come past this point. We're almost at that. We're just past this point in Mahomes' career where you can go being the young gunslinger who can run around and take off and run. Now we're kind of getting to the point to where we're going to be a little bit more, not saying exactly, a little bit more statuesque, more let's keep it in the pocket. Let's let our running game handle our running backs handle our running game, and let's just make good throws. Would you agree with that being a Chiefs fan?
Absolutely. And you have to do that. Like, that's the NFL nowadays. If you can't establish a ground game, you are not going to win many games. And that's exactly what we saw last year with the Chiefs is, Isaiah Pacheco, he had a great run for a couple of seasons there, and then he got banged up and he was never the same. And you could tell, he was not going to get a carry for more than 3 yards, it felt like, any time. And then you have to throw it on second and third downs. And it's like the game is so much opened up when you can run the ball. They can't sit in too high deep safeties. Defenses can't do that. And then you can start to take shots down the field that the Chiefs were not doing at all the last couple of seasons. Everything's just been dinking and dunking, trying to slowly make it their way down the field. And I'm excited about this year simply because of Eric Bieniemy being back as well. Matt Nagy was not a very good offensive coordinator in my eyes. So a lot of bad decisions there. But yeah, just more creativity in the offense plus the run game. I think if you're a Chiefs fan, you should be excited because it's going to be a different type of offense than what we've seen the past couple of seasons. More of what we saw at the beginning of Mahomes' career.
So let's have a little fun here before we bring on Jesse. Give me your top 3 storylines you're tracking, the most important storylines you're tracking as Chief OTAs get going. Your top 3 storylines.
Well, I think it's more so that I want to see the defense, what they're going to be looking like on the cornerback side of things, because they lost a ton of the secondary pieces. I've already seen some video of Mansour Delane. He looks pretty good. Obviously it's OTAs, like he's not guarding anybody, but he did look good. Yeah, he looked good, and same thing with the linebackers. Those two would be my first 2 keys. Like the linebacking core last year was, to my eyes, really slow. Like Nick Bolton, he's a good player, but he can't really cover the pass that well. And so they need to get some quicker guys in the linebacking core. So that's something I've been kind of keeping an eye on as well. And then, of course, the Mahomes and what the offense might look like. The addition of Kenneth Walker that it's kind of been under the radar. I kind of forgot about that he was on the team until they posted a picture, because it's like the NFL free agency was so long ago. But Kenneth Walker, that's going to be such a huge addition, I feel like, to just add to this run game. And I wanted to go into something else here real quick, Ross. I found a thing on Bleacher Report of kind of who will be the week 1 starting quarterback for these certain teams. It's kind of like if you have a toss-up type of deal between a lot of different squads, because a lot of teams drafted quarterbacks. And so I want to get started with the Chiefs being one. That was Mahomes right now. He's minus 720 to start on the betting apps. But Justin Fields is right behind him because they don't know if Mahomes will be ready for week 1.
I'm going to take Mahomes. He'll be ready. He'll be ready to roll. Too much of a competitor. He's not going to let Fields take his spot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, especially after seeing that video. Another one in the AFC West is the Raiders because they signed Kirk Cousins, who's actually favored to start over Fernando Mendoza week 1.
I think they should start Kirko before Fernando. I don't know if they will, but I think they should start Kirk Cousins and let Fernando Mendoza get a little bit more seasoning personally. If they want to have a chance at having him find success, which once again, I'm not a huge believer that he's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I think he'll be fine. Don't know if he'll be a great NFL quarterback, but I think you give Kirk Cousins the shot first.
Then
there's not much around him.
Then in Minnesota, they signed Kyler Murray in the offseason. He is favored to be the starting quarterback over J.J. McCarthy.
I don't know how I have always been a fan of Kyler Murray. I love how he plays. I love that he is so elusive in the pocket. And you put him with a true quarterback guru in Kevin McConnell, their head coach. I think you're going to see a huge bounce back year from Kyler Murray. If you're in fantasy football, you might want to take a flyer on Kyler Murray. I think he can have a big year.
Kevin McConnell, he seems to be like the quarterback saver.
He is.
He is such a good coach.
Amazing.
All right, then the Atlanta Falcons is another signing, that was so long ago I almost forgot about. But Tua Tagovailoa is a Falcon now with Michael Penix. So he is actually, Tagovailoa is favored to be the starting quarterback week 1.
Who starts week 1? Boy, I just don't think you bring in Tua at that kind of paycheck without probably starting him week 1. I think they probably go to Tua.
A couple of lefties there too. Both of them
works out well.
starters.
Well.
This is actually 3 different options here for the Cleveland Browns, who have been just a mess the last couple of seasons. But they've got Deshaun Watson right now favored to be the week 1 starter, which to me a bit of a surprise there. He hasn't played a football game in I think like 2 years.
Yeah.
Then Sanders and Dylan Gabriel are on the list too.
Boy, there's still a lot of money meat left on that bone with Deshaun Watson when I'm talking the paycheck wise. I don't know about playing wise. So no offense to Dylan Gabriel and Shadur. I think they got to go with Deshaun probably. They got to see I'm going to guess it's Deshaun Watson that starts week 1, but it's not going to shock me if we see all 3 play at some point in time throughout the year. And I mean, get a start at some point in time throughout the year.
They should do like a starting pitching staff where Deshaun Watson's got game 1, you're going Shadur game 2, and then Dylan Gabriel game 3.
There we go.
This might be the worst. This is the last one, by the way. This might be the worst situation that I've seen right now on the paper so far. It's the Arizona Cardinals. Their starter right now is Jacoby Brissett, or either Gardner Minshew or Carson Beck.
Yeah, the poor Cardinals. It is so rough for them. I feel like they're going to go. I feel like Brissett has actually been okay. And by okay, I mean like he's not awful.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to go with Brissett. I don't think Beck is ready yet, and for week 1, so I think it's going to be Brissett. He's probably has the best rapport with some of the receivers there after playing last year. He's kind of the semi-incumbent starter, especially towards the back end of the season. So give me Brissett to get the start there for Arizona. But yeah, oh my gosh, that is rough. It's not good being a Cardinals fan.
They weren't. They're not favored in any game this season.
Oh my!
Yeah,
they're not on prime time. They're going to be on Sunday at noon every day.
Sunday at noon, yeah. Which I did see the Chiefs schedule. They have a couple noon games, which I enjoy.
Yeah,
I don't want to watch them at 7:15.
You don't like watching them on a Tuesday night at 8:00?
Not a huge fan, no.
Jeez, I swear that one year they played on every single. I think it was like during COVID. They played almost every single night.
I think they did, yeah, because they had a Tuesday night game.
Yeah, against Buffalo or something. Yeah, it was just ridiculous. So, all right, we got to get to a break. Jesse Newell, good friend from The Athletic, will join us next talking more Chiefs football here in the Blitz.
Summer starts with savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 36 months on the 26 GMC Acadia. Drive home a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 with 0% for 36 months, 2.9% for 72 months, or up to $7,000 in rebates. Plus, get $1,000 in rebates on the 2026 GMC Sierra 2500. Summer deals won't last forever. Hurry into Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or shop online anytime at hurlchev.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning, Jared Law with the Andersons in Overland Park, Kansas, with your morning market update. It's Thursday, May 28th. July corn up 3 1/4 at 4.55 3/4. September up 3 1/4 at 4.63. December up 3 1/4 at 4.80 3/4. Soybeans on the July up 7, 11.92 1/4. November up 6 1/4 at 11.87 3/4. KC wheat on the July down 2 1/2, 6.67 1/4. September down 2 1/2, 6.70. We're down 3 at 6.94 1/4. Chicago wheat on the July up 2 3/4 at 6.25 1/4. Feeder cattle finished yesterday 354.62 1/2. Live cattle 251.42 1/2. Lean hogs 97.42 1/2. Crude oil futures up $1.83 a barrel at 90.51. Gold down 20 ounce 4,421.20. Silver down 83 at 73.80. U.S. dollar index either side of unchanged 99.12. Dow futures down 75 at 50,653. S&P futures down 2 1/4 at 7,537. If you need to move any cash grain or want to talk about risk management, you can reach out to myself, Jared Law, Tom Sluter, Tyler Ghosh, 913-748-3000. If you're out in Colorado, you can reach out to John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Farmers looking to boost crop performance and improve your profitability? Thiosulfates can help you do both. With Thiosol and KTS, you can create custom blends that allow you to extend your UAN supply while providing essential sulfur to your crop. Thiosulfates also protect your nitrogen investment by reducing losses through both nitrate leaching and denitrification, keeping more nitrogen available for your corn. Protect your nitrogen investment and increase yields with KTS.
All right, we are back here on the Morning Blitz. As we continue to make our way through the program today, we'll get to a few Royals and Rockies thoughts at the back end of the show, including why Garrett has given up on the Royals. He has completely given up on them. So we will get to that a little bit later on. Let's go to the phone. The Hurl Chevrolet GMC, the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline, I beg your pardon, where we are joined now by our good friend Jesse Newell of The Athletic. Jesse, good morning. How are we doing today? Is it wet in Kansas City? It's wet out. It's like the Pacific Northwest out here. What do you got over there in KC today?
Yeah, we had a little bit of sprinkles, a little bit of rain, but will be nice overcast weather and cooler weather for practice. So that'll be the big thing today as we get some eyes on the Chiefs practice and potentially Patrick Mahomes out there on the practice field to see just how much he's able to do.
Okay, we got to start with Mahomes. I mean, there was news, of course, after he got hurt that people were saying, well, he's going to try to make it back for week number 1. I don't know. In my mind, Jesse, I was like, I just have zero doubt that he's going to be able to do this because he's got all the financial backing and the people around him to make this happen. So it's been a surprise to you to see him back where he is at this point in time?
No, I mean, it's exactly what you said, Ross. It's Mahomes. When his kneecap was on the side of his knee, he was back within 2 weeks. He was trying to go back in the game, that same game a few years back. He had surgery the day after or 2 days after he suffered the injury to try to, have it heal as quickly as possible. I don't think he's out of the woods yet. I mean, that would be too much to say just because you see the big bracelets on his leg, and he's still only about 5 months outside of surgery. And it's not like he's out there, doing a bunch of cartwheels and handstands and things like that. But this is a positive sign, obviously. And so his stated goal was to come back for week 1. Will he be fully healthy, fully operational, fully able to move like he normally does and play quarterback the way he always has for the Chiefs? I mean, I don't know that answer. But, yeah, I think barring a setback, he wants to give this thing a go. He wants to be out there for his teammates, and he wants to return as quickly as basically humanly possible. And I'm sort of with you at this point, which is like as soon as humanly possible. If you have one human to do that, that probably is Patrick Mahomes right now based off of how he rehabs and how he attacks this sort of thing and has pain tolerance as well. So, is it 100% he's going to play week 1? No. But I think if it continues to this trend, obviously, and there are no setbacks, then you should definitely expect to see him against the Broncos there in week 1 on Monday Night Football.
And how nice is it now that they went and got Justin Fields and now Garrett Nussmeier, 2 guys that they obviously have to feel comfortable with possibly starting a game if needed for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. And the cost of backup quarterbacks has seemed to go up. They had Gardner Minshew last year, and he didn't come in and play very well. I know he seemed like he got hurt right away in the Tennessee game and probably was trying to play through it when he shouldn't have. But even a guy like that goes for a lot of money in free agency to Arizona. So to give up a draft resource to trade for Justin Fields, I think they will be excited about him. I talked with Andy Reid at the NFL owners meetings in Phoenix a couple months ago about Fields, and he kind of made a joke about it. He said, he won't commit to anything with Fields yet, especially when they really haven't talked to him that much, but he obviously gets asked about packages. Will he have some sort of wildcat package in there? Will they be able to utilize him in a creative way? And he goes, yeah, if he's bored on the sideline with me, we'll find something for him to do. So there might be creative ways for the Chiefs to get an athlete like that involved, especially with Fields and being able to have that sort of speed. And then Nussmeier, what's so interesting is Dane Brugler with us at The Athletic, his very first top 50 list when it came to prospects, I think he puts it out in August every year. It's just interesting going back. He wrote a story about that this week, and number 1 on that list was Peter Woods. So that was the number 1 prospect in the NFL, according to his rankings back when he first did the 2026 class. And that he ends up going to the Chiefs. And number 10 overall was Garrett Nussmeier. So Nussmeier certainly had a fall from grace in this past year at LSU and, didn't go, reach the standards he thought. And obviously did not do well in the interview process as well. Some of the rumblings I've heard is just, not really engaged in that sort of thing. And so some teams didn't like that. But yeah, the talent is there, and potentially for the Chiefs could have a long-term backup if he develops as they hope under Andy Reid.
Jesse Newell is our guest, joining us on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline, our good friend from The Athletic, talking the Kansas City Chiefs. I asked Garrett this question earlier. I want to ask it to you too, Jesse. Let's take Mahomes getting back into the swing of things off the table. What are your next 2 or 3 storylines that you're tracking as OTAs get underway here this week?
Yeah, so you have to realize, I mean, we're all just so starved for football. So it'll be great to be out there. It'll be great to watch practice. But this is a no contact, no fully padded, way early in the process. Not everybody's got the playbook down sort of thing. And it's mostly a passing camp too. So, I mean, I'd love to give you a detailed report on Peter Woods or R. Mason Thomas, but like offensive and defensive linemen, it's kind of just walkthrough sort of stuff here. This is not where you're going to learn if those guys are ready to play. What you will learn about is especially receivers, quarterbacks, defensive backs. So one of the biggest things to watch here will be kind of the new guys and how they fit in there. Montour Delane, their number 1 pick, they traded up for the number 6 pick. Is he fitting in? Is he with the first teamers? Is he getting burned repeatedly, or is he making plays on the outside? I mean, that's something early on. If you could probably see a little bit of the progression and the potential of a guy this early on. Jaden Kennedy, another guy, a 4th-round pick who they are projecting as a slot corner. How does he fare in this sort of thing? I mean, this is where you get early indications on guys. I remember writing last year at this point, the one guy who stood out from the receiver core was Tyquan Thornton. And remember, a year ago at this time, we didn't know Tyquan Thornton was going to be on the team. He ended up being very clearly inside the top 53 and ends up re-signing with the Chiefs. Had a very good start to the season before the Chiefs got over some injuries and didn't play him as much late. So it's not too early to make a good first impression here. And for guys like that, I mean, they've got a lot of receiver spots open, especially with Rashee Rice sitting in a Dallas County jail right now. So who's going to emerge a receiver? How will these cornerbacks look, especially these young players? And then will any of these rookies emerge? Because they have some interesting rookie players that they have as undrafted free agents. There's some spots on the roster for those guys to potentially step up. Who will do it, and will they be able to kind of get themselves in the mix early on, even before mandatory minicamp in a couple weeks and then training camp the month after? Those will all be things to watch here in this particular passing camp, but we can't see everything, obviously, when they're not going full contact. So set the line discussion aside for another day, but receivers and defensive backs, we'll see a lot of those guys and see how they perform, especially here over the next couple weeks.
Me and Ross kind of talked about Eric Bieniemy coming in, or back in rather, and probably going to try and establish the ground game a little bit more than what the Chiefs have been doing the past couple of seasons. And with the addition of Kenneth Walker, just how important is that going to be if the Chiefs, especially to give Patrick Mahomes a little bit of help as well, if coming back from this injury, really getting the ball going through the ground game.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I did an OTA's preview sort of story earlier this week for The Athletic, and one of the bullet points I had was Eric Bieniemy, because when he's out at practice, you hear him, and that'll be different for the Chiefs as well. The running backs have drills, 40, 50 yards away from the end zone, and you just hear him yell, finish, 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 and it echoes across the practice field. And those running backs have to run 30, 40 additional yards just to get used to finishing the play in the end zone, because that becomes a habit, and that becomes something that in a game, it becomes, you rise to the level you're training, basically. And so you're trained, okay, I'm always finishing the end zone. I'm always continuing toward that particular goal, and that becomes a habit, and that's sort of what he hopes for in that particular aspect, is that guys just sort of get used to that, and that becomes a thing. But yeah, for the Chiefs and Kenneth Walker, I think the biggest thing for them is, it's no secret that they've had no explosiveness with their run game here in the past few years. And Andy Reid had an interesting quote at the end of last year where he said, when the Chiefs ran play action, they did not get any movement from opposing linebackers. And I don't want to, I don't think I'm speaking anything here that should be a shock to anybody. Andy Reid's going to pass the football. Like, that's what he does. It's been effective over time. It's led them to 3 of the last 6 Super Bowls. But it sure would help if they ran the football, if every once in a while they got a 30 or 40 or 50-yard gain and had the easy button there, so that the defense would actually have to respect that and maybe bring a safety downhill. And then you have more potential to throw the ball over the top, or more potential to get the ball to your playmakers in some space. So they need the yin to the yang. Now, they need some balance there. And I'm not talking like 50-50 run pass balance. I'm talking about balance like the defense has to look at this and say, we need to devote some resources to stop the run game, and that helps the Chiefs in the pass game. And so they got a little bit out of whack last year, and that's where Kenneth Walker should help this year, is if he can stay healthy and if he can stay on the field. The one thing he does better than basically any back in the NFL is he comes up with these home run type runs, and the Chiefs just have not had those. Last year, I've always cited this stat, but they had one 20-plus yard run from a running back last year. That was less than Patrick Mahomes had, and you just can't have that out of your running back unit. And so they've been really efficient on 3rd and 1s and 3rd and 2s, and that'll still be a question going into next year. But can they hit some of those big plays so that defenses have to respect it, and then they get back to more of what they do with the pass game? I think that's what they're hoping with this Kenneth Walker signing, and hoping to, as you said, take some pressure off Patrick Mahomes, but also allow him to get the ball in space to some playmakers where they might have a little bit more room to operate, because defenses aren't just centering on the pass game and what Patrick Mahomes can do.
Jesse Newell, our guest, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware Hotline. Jesse, we know that Mahomes, of course, is one of the best, if not the best, quarterback in the NFL, and the Chiefs know that. But at the same time, they have to pay him that kind of money, and they've tried to put guys around, in particular the wide receiver spots, but it feels like at times it just hasn't really worked out as of late. What are your thoughts on this wide receiver core heading into this season, and what do you think they can do to help Mahomes?
Well, so it's interesting to me because, last year's narrative sort of gets painted in a certain way, and it's almost like you have to take it segment by segment, because I remember that game on Thanksgiving against Dallas and looking up the numbers for the Chiefs offense, and it didn't seem like it throughout the year, and sometimes there were struggles, but Chiefs are top 5 in a lot of offensive categories last year. They were. I remember after one of those weeks, I think it was week 12, that Patrick Mahomes led the NFL in pass EPA, according to Next Gen Stats numbers. And so this was not a train wreck of a season for them offensively, like it gets made out to be when they're 6-11. It's just you lose both tackles and then both tackles behind them, and all of a sudden you've got, other injuries out there and things not going your way. And then obviously the Mahomes injury, the last 3 games, their offense was complete trash, and that weighs into the numbers as well. But I don't think this thing is as far away as most people think, just because I think there was some effective things that they did last year. But to your point, I keep coming back to one question I asked Andy at the annual meetings here, a couple months ago. And when I asked about Tyquan Thornton and just said, why does he play early but not as much late? And Andy had an interesting quote where he said, sometimes veteran players can get a little bit jealous with playing time, and you worry a little bit about the locker room culture. And so they re-signed Tyquan, but they haven't brought back the veterans that were in front of him, Hollywood Brown or Juju Smith-Schuster. And it makes me wonder about the chemistry of that room and how much the Chiefs this year just want to say, we want to rely on these top guys and see how far they can go and not give them as many obstacles up top. Now, it's a dangerous thing to do because it looks like the depth of their room is probably worse than most teams in the NFL. But, once Rashee Rice gets out of jail, is he a good receiver when he's on the field and productive and can stay off the off-field stuff? Yes, he is. And Xavier Worthy, I talked to Andy Reid about it. He tore his labrum on the 4th play of the season last year. He said the Chiefs gave him different routes to not get him re-injured over the middle. They feel like he's going to be more full strength this year. Can he take another step forward? I think so. Can Tyquan Thornton play more? Does he seem like a guy that Patrick Mahomes can trust? Yes. So I feel good about those top 3 if they're all on the field together. The question is, what can you backfill that with? And that's the depth that you need in the NFL. So I'm worried about their depth. I'm worried about the reliability of those guys up the top. But if all 3 of those guys are healthy, I think their playmakers are in a decent spot. And you guys mentioned the Kenneth Walker signing being able to maybe alleviate some of the things that were hurting them a year ago when it came to being a little bit too one-dimensional offensively and not having teams respect your run game. So I think things can come together. I don't think it's as far away as it might seem from a 6-11 record, but they need those guys to stay healthy and they need to be reliable. And all those things are question marks, especially after the offseason that they've gone through here in 2026.
Okay, last one for me, Jesse, 30 seconds. Any thoughts on my boy, Emmett Johnson?
He's been impressive so far. Guys, go check out his video blog. He's been checking out some Kansas City restaurants out there and been pretty entertaining with it. But he's been a great quote. He's been good life to the room. And, yeah, I think he can be a good back on Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker hasn't always stayed healthy, too. So look for him. They've had some good things to say about him so far.
Jesse Newell, Kansas City Chiefs beat reporter there for The Athletic. Jesse, it's always great to catch up, my friend. We'll do it again soon. Have yourself a great rest of the week.
All right, appreciate it, guys.
There's Jesse Newell. Dang it, I should have asked him about if he was going to go to the Hogue this weekend to watch KU baseball. Longtime beat reporter. Should have asked him if he was going to go watch the regional this weekend for KU. Should have asked him that. Dang it. Always think of that too late. All right, let's get to a break. We'll come back. Garrett has given up on the Royals. He'll tell us why as we wrap up the show next in the Morning Blitz.
Summer starts with savings at Hurl Chevrolet GMC. Right now, get 1.9% financing for 36 months on the 26 GMC Acania. Drive home a 2026 GMC's here at $1,500 with 0% for 36 months, 2.9% for 72 months, or up to $7,000 in rebates. Plus, get $1,000 in rebates on the 2026 GMC Sierra 2500. Summer deals won't last forever. Hurry into Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland today or shop online anytime at hurlchev.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
When your fence is falling down, your water line won't cooperate, or your equipment cracks at the worst possible time, don't just aim anywhere. Hit the mark with Bullseye Services. From all types of fencing to water tanks and water lines to quality welding work, Bullseye Services gets the job done right the first time. Serving farms, ranches, homes, and businesses with dependable work you can count on. Find out more at bullseyeservicesks.com. Aim for the best with Bullseye Services. Hitting the mark every time.
Here's a bright idea. Make sure you put your pants on before leaving the house. Sure, it seems simple, but sometimes simple doesn't happen. At IdeaTech, we think it's simple to have real people who live in Kansas helping customers. We understand that not everyone in our industry agrees. Then again, not everyone puts on pants before they leave the house. We think it's important to get the simple things right. Putting our pants on and providing local customer service. Another bright idea from IdeaTech.
It's simple. Get IdeaTech fiber internet at ideatech.com.
At NextTech Wireless, we built a network for Kansans by Kansans. But just because our roots are here, it doesn't mean your adventures have to be. Take that trip, explore new places, make new memories. You can count on reliable service every step of the way. Bring your number to us to get unlimited data plus a Samsung Galaxy S26 for as low as $25 a month. NextTech Wireless, connecting Kansans for 20 years, wherever life takes you.
Looking to elevate your golf game? Heritage Hills Golf Course in McCook, Nebraska is calling your name. Enjoy one of the premier link-style courses in the tri-state region with a par membership for just $450 for the entire season. That's unlimited access to championship-level golf at a great value. Perfect for players who live outside Red Willow County. So grab your clubs and head for the hills. Heritage Hills, that is, in McCook, Nebraska. And experience golf the way it was meant to be.
Whether it's touchdowns, home runs, or buzzer beaters, we've got you covered. It's the Morning Blitz.
All right, we're putting a bow on a Thursday show here. FB Bank text line open, 785-899-2222 if you got some thoughts, some comments, and questions on it. So let's see here. What are we going with? We got lots of people chiming in here about different things. We're going back to the Avalanche. Brian goes, don't touch the President's Cup. It's a curse for the past 13 years. Don't win the President's Cup is what he's saying about the Avalanche. So don't make changes, but just don't touch the President's Cup. Let's see. And Luke is talking about... it's bad when Jacoby Brissett is holding your team hostage. Thank you. Plenty for text. Thanks again for the text line for chiming in there throughout the show. Garrett has last night the Chiefs get shut out by the Yankees 7-0. I think that's now 14 consecutive losses to the Yankees. We mentioned earlier in the show the Dodgers beat the Rockies 4-1. So once again, you've got Kansas City now, which is just absolutely scuffling. We knew the Rockies were going to scuffle. I think there's no doubt it's the shocker of at least this show is the fact that the Royals have just shown really no pulse here through the first 2 months of the season. I mean, we're over a third of the way through the season. We haven't seen any pulse out of them really at all. And they've had I feel like they've had so many home games too, and they've not taken advantage of the home cooking. And because of that, Garrett has completely given up on the Royals. Why have you completely given up on the Royals?
I mean, I think it's time for a change, some type of sort. I don't know. Probably Matt Quatrero should be the number one option. Their bullpen continues to lose every game, and I'm not saying he's the sole reason that the players are to blame too.
You're going to blame the bullpen on this?
The bullpen has not been good, and I'm a firsthand believer of this. Now, I will say the offense hasn't been good either.
Okay, well, yeah,
that's been a problem too. But the bullpen has, it seems like when they have actually a lead and you're like, oh, they're going to win tonight. Oh, they blow it in the eighth inning. Like the other night against Memorial Day against the Yankees where they had a 3-2 lead and then they lose 4-3. And it's like, here we go again. It's been a constant just pitching is good, offense sucks. Offense is good, pitching sucks. They can't put it together. I think there needs to be a change. I don't know if it's, I don't think it's necessarily a front office move, but I do believe it's possibly the manager coming.
I think Quatrero probably does need to go, if you want my little 2 cents on this. And the hitting coach, absolutely, whatever his name is, he's got to go. I'm sorry, you've never won there's never been a game won in baseball where you scored 0 runs. You have to score more than a run. You have to score runs. You cannot go out there and put up these 1, 2, 0 runs in today's baseball world. You can't do it. They have to score more runs. And they have bats in the lineup that are capable. Witt, Garcia, Pasquantino. They have plenty of guys. Caglione. They have tons of guys that have a roster spot that are on the roster that can go out there and can bash and they can drive in runs. But they just don't do it. Mm-hmm. They have to find better. I think that is the manager, the hitting coach. They got to completely redo that because they have pieces. And the pitching staff, whoever the pitching coach is, promote him to manager. Promote him to the skipper. For the last few years, his team's out there throwing up 3s and 4s at the staff. And I know that bullpen has been a little shaky here this year. Ursig hasn't been great, but on the, overall, pitching has been, I think, pretty darn good for the Royals. And if you think about being the pitchers, you're like, we're doing everything we can, but our offense doesn't do diddly squat.
A couple of months ago, we thought, watching the World Baseball Classic, it was like, oh my God, Royals are going to be amazing. Everybody's hitting well. And then the regular season starts.
Hence my fantasy team and why it's the worst one I've ever had, because I thought the Royals, those guys are white hot. Let's pick them up. Let's pick them up. But no. Yeah. Oh, it's bad. It's been bad. I'm with you. There needs to probably be some changes now if you're Kansas City. The question is, will they pull the trigger on that? Mm-hmm. Do they want to salvage this season, or are they just willing to just say, we'll punt it till next year? I don't know. I was
talking to my dad about it. He's a lifelong Royals fan. He watches every game, and he was telling me this is the most disappointed he's ever been in a team, just because there was expectations. Just like I mentioned, the World Baseball Classic, there was hype around this season, and now they're 12 games below 500. The second worst team in the American League, 1 game ahead of the Angels. God. That might change here too soon if they don't start turning it around.
It's brutally bad. I mean, like I said, we knew the Rockies were going to be bad. But the Royals to be this bad is a problem. And I'm not glad. I think I had them making a deep run in the postseason in my preseason predictions, but that is not happening.
I mean, I had a feeling I thought they were going to win the AL Central. It's not a great division, but it seems like it's the Guardians now every year winning that and owning that.
Hey, what? Watch out for the Pale Hose, man. The White Sox. I'm telling you, Murakami, that guy is mashing everything. 20 home runs already, by the way, for that guy. What a pickup for the White Sox, who, by the way, that makes Royals fans sick, because they were scraping the bottom of the barrel the last couple of years, and now they've surpassed them. That'll make Royals fans extremely sick. All right, on to the walk-off.
High drive, deep left, grand slam, and back lifts his ball deep to right. To the 10, Denver's going on to New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman, jackpot, Kansas City.
Two quick things. First and foremost, the NBA draft, of course, coming up. We're seeing guys who tested the NBA waters or getting the note saying we probably aren't going to get drafted, so you might as well go back to college. Milan Momcilovic, the star, best three-point shooter for Iowa State. He's apparently going to come back to college. He's in the portal. Arizona, Louisville, Kentucky, the big money teams are sniffing around him. No surprise there. The one that was impressive to me, Tyler Tanner, the point guard for Vanderbilt. I saw him in person. A dude, a certified dude, despite being 5'0". He's a star, and he's going back to Vanderbilt. What a win it is for their Mark Byington, I think is his name there at Vanderbilt. What a win to get him back. He's an absolute stud. Absolute stud. So some names that are coming back from the portal. And also, Women's College World Series gets going today at Oklahoma City. Who are you taking in the field?
I'll rock with Texas Tech. Why not?
Texas Tech.
They got the Kansas pitcher, Nyjah Kennedy. I'll go with her.
Yep. Go Big Red. Nebraska. Why not? We'll play the card here today. They got Jordy Fromm, best pitcher.
Another great pitcher.
So, and not to mention Alexis Jensen. She's a star too. Watch her pitch. She's amazing. All right, that'll do it for Garrett Wellbrock and myself. We'll see you back here tomorrow for a Friday show. It's been the Blitz.